Don't say it. Don't you say it.
On your left.
Come on!
Good old Ruby Amethyst. Everyone's favorite deck to play in tournaments. Some love it, some hate it, but all want to defeat it. Many decks have accomplished this, such as Sapphire Wheel Steel and Emerald Steel Discard. However, my solution to the problem is to fight fire with fire, but not the way you think. While everyone else is playing cards like Peter Pan Shadow within the mirror match, I'm out here questing to 20 lore before I even see a Be Prepared. That's right, folks. Aggro is the answer. Jumping into our standard lines of play, on turn 1, you want to place down a 1-drop of some sort, preferably Maleficent, as she's the 1-drop in your deck that quest for the most, but a Pascal or an Olaf is perfectly acceptable as well. On turn 2, you can quest with your 1-drop and then play Madam Mim Snake to bounce that card back to your hand. If it's an inkable card, it can then be used as ink throughout the rest of the game, but if it's a card like Maleficent, you've essentially just protected the card and now you can replay it to try and gain another 2 lore further on in the game. You can also play LeFou on turn 2 to protect your 1-drop that just quested by readying it up. This protects it from being attacked and therefore you will be able to gain more lore quicker at the start of the game. Pinocchio is also really good on turn 2 as well as Cusco. On turn 3, we want to play Arthur, especially if we have either Pinocchio, LeFou, or Madam Mim Snake on board, which we should have. Minnie Mouse Surfer or Madam Mim Fox are also solid turn 3 options. Turn 4 is where things get spicy because we have a lot of play lines. If you have LeFou and Arthur on the board, you should quest with LeFou, then quest with Arthur to bounce LeFou back to the hand. That's a total of 4 lore. Then you can replay LeFou to ready up Arthur to protect him against any combat, and then follow that up with a card like Pinocchio. You can also do this in reverse if you already had Pinocchio on the board, so quest with Pinocchio, quest with Arthur, bring Pinocchio back to the hand, replay Pinocchio, and then you can play a LeFou to ready up that Arthur. The next strongest play line is probably the best one in my opinion. If you have a Madam Mim Snake on board and an Arthur, you quest with the snake, you quest with Arthur to bounce the snake back to your hand. Again, this is 4 lore in total. Then what you can do is you can play a LeFou if you have it in your hand to ready up that Arthur. Then you can replay the Madam Mim Snake to bounce LeFou back to your hand. The reason why this play is specifically the best in my opinion is because it really protects your LeFou from getting removed from any removal cards such as Teeth and Ambitions, Let the Storm Rage On, Smash, all of that. Turn 5 is where we can continue to do our infinite loop combo. There's 2 main ways of doing this. The first being the LeFou combo, so as long as you have LeFou on board, you can quest with Arthur, bounce LeFou back, play LeFou again, and then ready up your Arthur. This is probably the strongest play because it means that you don't have to repay the cost for the Arthur. It's just readied on the board. You can quest again with them next turn. The next option we have is if there's a Madam Mim Snake on board, what you can do is quest with the snake, quest with Arthur to bounce the snake back to your hand. Then for 2, you can play the snake to bounce the Arthur back to your hand, and then pay the last 3 ink that you have to replay the Arthur. This is very similar to the LeFou play, except you're actually spending 5 total ink. You have to physically replay the Arthur card rather than just ready him up. In conclusion, you want to be looking for your 1-2-3 drop curve that contains your high questing cards, which will then allow you to abuse your infinite loop questing combo leading into turn 4 and turn 5. You rarely want to be making any trades with this deck unless you're using cards like Madam Mim Fox and also Madam Mim Snake, but overall your main objective is to just quest. In terms of matchups, if we face Ruby Amethyst, there's one key thing to keep in mind, and that is Teeth and Ambitions. This card is used in many Ruby Amethyst decks, and it will be used to disrupt your infinite loop combo by killing off LeFou. However, some players aren't really aware of this combo, and I've had players focus on killing off cards like Maleficent or Pinocchio over the LeFou, and that's how you will actually end up winning the game, is that they don't kill off the important card. Be Prepared should always be on your mind. Try to quest for as much as possible before turn 7, but also don't overcommit to the board leading into that turn 7. Once the Be Prepared does come down, you have to consider Lady Tremaine. You also need to consider this on turn 6 before the Be Prepared, but most importantly after, because you need to make sure you have enough fuel left in your hand to still win the game. But if you just start playing single characters, Lady Tremaine will clean you up really quickly. So that's where these 1-drops come in. They're really important. So even if you can play Arthur and an Olaf, that's going to be super helpful for you to get around the Lady Tremaine. Moving on to Sapphire Steel, the biggest thing to keep in mind is the removal cards that will be used against us, such as Smash, Grab Your Sword, and Tinkerbell. A Whole New World can actually be an advantage to us in this matchup since we dump our hands so aggressively. So the Sapphire Steel player really needs to choose the precise moment to utilize this card. We basically have to outpace them and get to 20 before they can stabilize with cards like Cogsworth, Tinkerbell, and Hades. Next up, we have Emerald Steel discard, and this is very similar to the Sapphire Steel matchup. Smash, Grab Your Sword, and Tinkerbell are the main cards to worry about. However, there's another card included in the Emerald Steel discard list that you don't really see in the Sapphire Steel list. That is Robin Hood. This card can really mess up your game plan as it pings off cards like your 1-cost Maleficent, your 2-cost Pinocchio. It can also deal 1 damage to Arthur, which then means it's vulnerable to a card like Grab Your Sword. So this card really makes the matchup difficult. That being said, I still think we're pretty favored in the matchup, mainly because we don't tend to have loads of cards in our hand like the traditional control/tempo Ruby Amethyst. So as long as we don't give them card advantage by allowing them to discard cards from our hand and draw cards using Prince John, we tend to get there pretty fast. Steel Amber Flute Song is by far our worst matchup, mainly because they use cards like 1-drop Cinderella to sing Let the Storm Rage On, which can quickly kill off our high questing cards like Maleficent, Pinocchio, and also our combo pieces like LeFou. They also play Strength of a Raging Fire alongside Smash, so this deck utilizes way more steel removal cards than the previous steel ink combos that I talked about, so it's just a lot harder to make our high questing cards stick on the board. That being said, you might be able to get there if they don't draw any of their Singer cards, but as soon as they get an Ariel or a Gaston, Grab Your Sword essentially becomes a turn 4 removal tool, and that is just extremely difficult to get past. Now that you're caught up on the matchups, let's jump into the mulligan. Maleficent, LeFou, Snake, and Arthur are the 4 cards that we really want to keep in our opening hand. The hardest thing is deciding what to use as ink. Luckily, Maui is used for this purpose 99% of the time, but the best cards I would keep for ink are Fan the Flames and Befuddle. These cards don't have a great impact on the game besides getting you a little bit of extra lore in tight spots, but I would never mulligan them away because you would rather ink them instantly than draw them later on in the game when you would rather get a card like Merlin, Goat, Arthur, etc. I also recommend trying to keep a Friends on the other side, especially if you have a 3-drop that's not Arthur like Madam Mim Fox or Minnie Mouse Surfer, because this deck can run out of resources pretty fast, especially if you don't have the bounce package. So it's something that is nice to have, but you can't always keep it. Sometimes you will end up inking the Friends. Tips and tricks for this deck include utilizing that Friends on the other side by singing it with those 3-cost cards like Minnie Mouse Surfer and Madam Mim Fox. Many players like going for the aggressive push with the Minnie Mouse Surfer, which is completely fine if you have enough fuel in your hand, but there are definitely situations where you should be singing with the card rather than questing. Another piece of advice is don't be afraid to quest, as that is exactly what this deck is all about. If Pinocchio only quests for 3 lore, don't worry, it's done its job. You would rather get that 3 lore than lose it to a card like Teeth and Ambitions. Finally, take your time when deciding what cards to ink. This is the biggest reason why aggro players lose games. And yes, while we want to go fast, if you go too fast and ink the incorrect card, it will be fatal for your game plan going forward. There are many alternative cards that you could use in this deck, as I have tried quite a few over my iterations. The main one being You Can Fly, which is a 2-cost inkable song which grants a character evasive until the start of your next turn. I thought this would be a good slot in to replace Teeth and Ambitions in the traditional Ruby Amethyst decks, since it's also a 2-cost inkable song, and it's also another way from protecting our key combo characters like Arthur from being hit in combat. And yeah, that's the deck, guys. I think it's the best aggro deck in the meta at the moment. Personally, I wouldn't be playing it so much if it was more of a steel focused meta, and you could argue that it kind of is with all of the Sapphire Steel running around, but I truly believe that Ruby Amethyst is still the deck that's on top, and into those control/tempo Ruby Amethyst decks, this deck just performs absolutely insanely. I recently took it to first place in the Swiss portion of the biggest European Lorcana tournament yet out in Vienna. I had to battle my way through 124 other highly competitive Lorcana players. I also got to spend time with my good friend Alphos. These types of events are exactly what I want to see in the future for Lorcana organized play. Big events with lots of players and lots of fun to be had. Be sure to follow my weekly competitive Lorcana podcast where we cover all meta decks, all events taking place, and keeping you guys updated on everything going on. Before we jump into the games, if any of you guys are looking to get yourself some shiny new sleeves, be sure to check out Dragon Shield in the link down below and use code KOA at checkout for 5% off. Alright, let's get off to the strong mulligan here. So we have the LeFou, we have the Madam Mim, we have the 1-drop here as well. We've got the Minnie Mouse. It's a very good opening hand, honestly. I think I would have just preferred to see an Arthur right now as well. Madam Mim, I think I can afford to get rid of here. I probably do want to keep the Olaf. Everything else, yeah, is looking pretty good, not gonna lie. Cusco's a 2-drop is fine. Right now, Cusco is literally just going to be ink here, which I honestly don't mind too much. And we'll throw in Olaf. We did go first, which is exactly what we want in this matchup. But unfortunately, we did not start with our Maleficent. Opponent is on this Sapphire Steel. Another Olaf. Okay, that is interesting. So I just want to decide if I want to establish a Madam Mim Snake now, or do I want to try to get a Pinocchio to start questing for a little bit more. Probably the Snake for the moment. I think I can do the Pinocchio stuff after, and then I can just go Snake into Minnie Mouse and then sing with the friends and kind of get going a little bit. So quest, ink this Olaf. This is just, I just think this is much better because now that I've done the Madam Mim to bounce the Olaf back, it means I just have another card in my hand that is purely going to be ink, right? So I think that just makes sense. Problem against Sapphire Steel here is that we could see either a Jafar or a Cruella pop down, and that would be pretty rough as I'm going into my turn 3 play of playing Minnie Mouse Surfer. Small Tink inked. Okay, Small Tink is a bit worrisome. Oh, there's the... Yep, there's the card. There is the card. So maybe I don't want to be going down the Minnie Mouse route now. But maybe if I can get them to quest with the Cruella, then I can just save the Mini for after. It seems a bit weird. Maybe even if I want to sacrifice my Mim. So I'm definitely getting rid of this Mel, even though it is good into their Beast and other stuff like that. I could just play a Friends right now, but I do think I want to be able to sing that. I think I'm fine with playing Olaf. Madam Mim here. I can play my my Minnie Mouse out. It might have been a mistake committing the Olaf as well, because we might be running low on like ink resources, but so far it's okay. It's not the most aggressive start that we like to see. We see a Beast ink. We see the smash come down on the Pinocchio. I think I'm okay with that, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Now we can just play our Minnie Mouse. We at least baited that out. Double Mini here is super interesting. I really do want to keep LeFou because it's key to like our combo piece. But I think I will be inking LeFou and just going for a double Mini, especially since we've seen one smash played. We'd only really be in trouble if we see like another Cruella come out here. That would be quite annoying. But if there's no Cruella, it would mean that at least I can just sing Friends on the other side here and play another Surfer. Okay, Big Tink is inked. So we're definitely on the slower start right now, but I don't even think it's that bad, honestly. Okay, there's the Maleficent. This is not looking bad at all, honestly. And if I want to just keep emptying my hand, that makes their whole new world worse against me. So yeah, honestly, this is just not bad at all. If I play the Maleficent, I kind of bait out a Grab Your Sword. But if a Grab Your Sword comes out here anyways, I don't think it's the worst. So I'm going to quest with Olaf. And do I want to just go full send and do a... I think I'm going to quest Pascal. Or sorry, Ink Pascal. And we'll just save the Maui and see if we need it. And if not, it's fine, right? I feel like our opponent really doesn't want the whole new world here, because that's just like really good value for us. Beast comes down, which is a problem. This deck doesn't run Teeth and Ambitions to answer the Beast, unfortunately. Crab is kind of nice. I'm going to play Crab over... Yeah, I'll play Crab over the Maui here, and I'll just use the Olaf to kill the Mickey. That way that I kind of force the Beast to have to kill the Maleficent, which I think is quite good. So I should just be kind of giga questing here, but this is not too bad at all. So we're still questing for a lot here, right? We're gonna be on 10 right now, so we're really getting here. The double Minnie Mouse Surfer really putting in work. So, like, already the opponent is, the opponent really wants to see a Grab Your Sword. If they have Grab Your Sword and sing it with Beast, and they have another Grab Your Sword, then they're after clearing the board, which is quite good. They could also do Tink Grab Your Sword. That would be like the perfect scenario right now for them. See if they have it. They just go for a Hades to get rid of one of the Minnie Mouse Surfer. So we're still putting on the pressure for the moment, which is good. Arthur comes down. That is really, really nice to see. I don't think... Do I want to waste this Maui on this beast, or do I want to just go like full send? I might just want to go full send. I think if I Maui this beast, then it makes, again, like a Grab Your Sword pretty good for them. I'm definitely doing this. We haven't seen the Tinkerbell Grab Your Sword combo yet, so I think playing Arthur right now is just going to put on a lot of pressure. Get to 14, and this will be 19 if the Mini and the Arthur survive here. I think I'm just gonna go for it. I will just go full send, and then maybe Maui can be used to kill off one of their singers. But let's see if the Tinkerbell Grab Your Sword is actually played here. We could just see a whole new world come out here in desperation. I feel like they would have, if they had the board clears right now, they would have used. But maybe it's good enough for them, honestly. Yeah, uses the beast to kill off the crab. So right now we can quest to 17. I can give something challenger, which of course doesn't matter. I really wanted to see kind of a goat. Okay. Well, the first thing we will 100% be doing is Minnie Mouse. Now, I should probably use Fox to kill off this beast just to play it a little bit safe. I think it's fine, honestly. We'll do this. We can bounce the Olaf back, kill off the beast. I want to keep my cards at the 3 health kind of sec. So like this threatens lethal right now. But then this also technically threatens. I think I will ink a befuddle here. And I'll just keep the rest. They have to have again like the tink and the grab your sword to answer. Right here. Maybe committing the second Minnie Mouse is kind of bad here, but it means that if they have another Hades, then it's not too bad. Okay, they are really fishing for that combo right now. And I'm just hoping that even if they can kind of get past my board right now, I just top deck a few goats and it's going to be the game. I could have maybe wanted to save the Madame Mim Fox in case I did top deck a goat, so it's a little bit more... Okay, this is what Sapphire Steel can do, guys. They can really put on the pressure right now, but it seems like they don't have an answer for this, and that's gonna be the game. Yeah, one jump ahead. I mean, the bells is how they switch on the gas. Unfortunately, that's gonna be game. GG's, the goat top deck to finish it off as well. Yeah, the deck is just too fast, guys. It is too fast. All right, so the mulligan here is looking quite interesting. We have the LeFou, we have the Arthur, which is really key. Double goats we don't want to see. Maleficent and Cusco can be cards that they can literally just be ink, but we do really want to mull for the 1-drop. So I think I'd prefer to get rid of these 4 cards and really try and fish for that 1-drop. Okay. No 1-drop found, so this is going to be a very difficult game. And we are also going second, so let's see if we can get there or not. Yeah, opponent has the 1-drop. Can we top deck it here? We cannot, unfortunately. We're going to have to ink the Cusco and pass, which is really, really rough. That being said, I can just go for the Pinocchio line here alongside the Arthur. And I just really hope that the opponent doesn't have teeth. You kind of have to play into these situations like they don't have these cards. We did pick up the Madame Mim snake, which would have been really, really nice to see for us. I think I'd rather get rid of a crab, honestly, because I don't see myself using it here. And we'll play Pinocchio. If we see a teeth and ambitions, it is going to absolutely suck. But again, I only have like 4 of them in the deck, so let's hope we don't see it. And then we can just start questing like crazy with Pinocchio and Arthur. There's the teeth. They did have it, unfortunately. So that does kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. Just bounce the Madame Mim back. Okay, yeah, this is a very rough start right now. Very, very, very rough start. I can threaten a snake at least, or do I want to get my Arthur down as quickly as possible? Snake means I can hit into the Madame Mim. I probably want to just get this Arthur down, honestly. Yeah, Cusco is gonna have to say goodbye. And we will have to play an Arthur. Which is really bad to play like a naked Arthur on turn 3 because it means like we don't have anything good to quest with and then bounce, right? Yep. Friends the other side. Use to draw some more cards. Olaf inked. What do we see played here? Minnie Mouse server. Okay, that is going to be very hard for us to deal with because we just can't really deal with that, unfortunately. So yeah, if I had something on the board, I could do my really good LeFou and Madame Mim play on turn 4, but I don't have something really good on the board, unfortunately. It does mean I can still do Maleficent and LeFou at least, so I should play Maleficent like this. And I should quest with Arthur to bounce Maleficent back. It's better than nothing, right? I can use LeFou to re-ready Arthur, and I can ink a Maui, and I can play Maleficent. So now I'm really trying to put the pressure back onto my opponent, and hopefully I can start my LeFou Giga combo off pretty well here. If I see a second Teeth and Ambitions, it will really suck. Seems like our opponent is just going for the quest. Could see a goat or something come out here as well from the control player, put on the pressure. But right now, like I said, we're coming into that turn 5 infinite loop stage where you can do like the either just LeFou and Arthur, or if I have to do the snake. Yeah, the second Teeth. Now, do they kill the Maleficent? They kill the Maleficent and not the LeFou. I think that's the mistake, honestly. Let's see if that's What's this going to be? This will be turn 6, so we could be seeing a Tremaine come down, which is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. But we definitely want to re-ready this back up. And I honestly still think it's fine to... I mean, I could bounce this LeFou back to protect it from another Teeth, which is exactly what you want to be doing. Yeah, I think it's better. And then am I just going to ink like a Friends or something like that? I don't really have a good excuse to use Friends here. I'm probably going to have to just try and win off whatever I have in my hand. Which, yes, is going to be quite difficult. But we're going to have to try and make it work here. So as we come into turn 6, we're probably going to see the Tremaine come down. I'm going to have to kill off my Madam Mim. And then I'm trying to get over like the Ursula and stuff like that. Yeah, it was just a little bit slow for us here. We will kill off the Snake. Hope we can top deck an inkable card. I think that's going to be super important for us here. That is very unfortunate. Now, I mean, by playing Merlin, we can get some more card draw maybe, and then maybe this card's not as bad as I thought. Okay, we only run one rabbit in this deck as well, so might not be too bad. We'll go for the rabbit. We'll get a fox, which is inkable, which we could also use with the goat possibly. Use Arthur to bounce the Merlin. Draw another card, and yeah, we're probably gonna ink Olaf. And then just ready up Arthur again. Can we win the game is my question right now. I can't bounce the goat back, so the most I can do is bounce LeFou back, and then I can do goat. So this is 2 in our hand, and then 4 on the board, so we can get to 16. So, yeah, this is quite interesting. What do I... I think I need to bounce it back with Mim, right? Or do I? Oh, no, I can just bounce it back now. Bounce it back now. And then I can replay it again. And now we're going to see if our opponent kind of comes out. But yeah, I will have to play my Madam Mim Fox. Bounce this LeFou back. And then kill off the Tremaine, which means they're only going to get to 4. Yeah, the issue here now is I actually need to play another card. And as good as LeFou has been here, I think I need to ink it and keep the goat. So I'm gonna have to do LeFou, ink LeFou now, and play the Pinocchio just in case of the case of another possible Lady Tremaine right now. And this does also threaten lethal actually, so yeah, this is still pretty good for us. So if they have a Be Prepared, they're gonna just have to quest with everything and go for that, which gets them pretty close honestly. But I'm still feeling pretty confident. It seems like that's the play that they're gonna be going for, unless they decide to do some bounce rabbit tactics. Yeah, we could see the rabbit bounce, but yeah, I mean, just see how many times we did the Arthur combo there. Like, it was absolutely insane. Now the question I have now is if I do goat, okay, yeah, they're going for the Ursula. They're really relying on us just not having the extra lore, it seems. But yeah, you know what, I feel like if they did Be Prepared, we would have been, well, if they did Be Prepared, we would have I can't believe that. We went second and we had like a really rough start, but we still got there. Like, this deck can do it, honestly. And the 2 Teeth and Ambitions against us as well. Like, man,